Arizona State's path back to the Big 12 is dangerous. We're talking teams like West Virginia, Colorado, Houston.
Happy Tuesday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show presented by Branded Bills. Make sure you head to brandedbills.com and use that code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. I'm Anthony Totri, joined as always by the blind mouse himself, also known legally as Erik Ruby.
No, I legally changed it to
You
blind
legally
mouse.
changed it to blind mouse.
It
Wow.
was the stupidest guy alive. And they said, maybe go with blind
We'll
mouse.
take the blind mouse instead. Don't worry, the Deli Man is behind the Mac making all of the magic happen. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast.
Sharon, I'm going to make you like this emoji.
We have a new emoji
We do,
in the
we
chat.
do.
It's a Kenny emoji. Kenny is licking something.
He's
he's
licking
not.
the comment above.
Stop it.
Or
He's not-
below.
He's not
Or to
licking.
the side.
He's not licking anything. He's sticking his tongue out.
It's
like
a very
that.
like
It's expressive.
it's like that. Like that's what
Yeah.
it is. That's the vibe that the new
They're staring in
Kenny,
the chat. It looks funny.
emoji
I know, it's awesome.
has. It's great. I love it. If you're wondering why you don't have a Kenny emoji, well, it's because you're
You're a
probably
loser.
not a part of the supporters club.
You're a loser.
You're a loser.
And as those two would say, maybe you're just a loser. So how do you
oh
not
my
be?
God, Sharon.
How do you become a
hates
winner?
it.
Sharon really
How do you
doesn't
become
like
a
it.
winner?
A winner?
How do you become
just
a
hit
winner?
the little join button next to the subscribe button, which is already hit. So it's actually the join button just next to the PHNX Sports thing. If you
Super
are
easy.
on your mobile app, there's a link. Go to mobile desktop because it's like impossible to do it through the app. But you just do that, $5 a month, and you get a special badge next to your name. Your name lights up green. Access to all of our special emojis. Plus, if you become a Hall of Fame level, access to some very exclusive videos.
I love that. King in the chat saying, I hear that Arkansas is going to go after Kenny hard. Should we be concerned? Let me just say this. Arkansas went really hard after Molly Miller as well. And Molly is currently your women's basketball coach at Arizona State. The level of concern, if 10 was being alarmed and 1 was being not concerned at all, I'm a negative 100. Kenny's not going to Arkansas.
No, he's not going to Arkansas.
Nobody. Yeah, they're not going to Arkansas.
It's not
Although
going to
I,
Arkansas.
they have hit me up. The Razorbacks have called my phone. I've hit it straight to voicemail
To
several
coach?
times. Yeah.
Or you don't know.
Or to podcast.
It could be both.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think
But
it's
maybe they want to hear about Jalen Graham.
under the same. Well, yeah, potentially. Friend of the program, Jalen Graham. Look, but we're not here to talk about Arkansas or Jalen Graham. We're here to talk about what lies ahead for the Arizona State Sun Devils after this bye week. Erik, we're going to talk about the gauntlet continuing for the Sun Devils. We got some players that certainly deserve some flowers, while also mentioning that those same individuals need to continue on the trajectory that they're on if Arizona State is going to do some special things throughout the rest of 2025, and then maybe some emerging players as well that could impact how Arizona State performs over the next several games. But I do want to start looking way ahead, and that is the path to the Big 12 championship for Arizona State. It may sound ridiculous considering that some teams just played their first conference game of the season, but considering Arizona State has already played 2 games, and because their schedule was pretty difficult, considering you had teams like Baylor and TCU, 2 teams that we all kind of expect to still be in the thick of the Big 12 race here in the next several weeks, because the Sun Devils hold tiebreakers, head-to-head tiebreakers over those schools now. If Arizona State takes care of business the next 4 games, the path to the Big 12 championship is there.
Yeah, I think also on the flip end, though, over the next 4 games, if you do not take care of business, it is going to be really hard for you to find a way to get there, because once you get past Iowa State, you're not playing top-tier competition that's going to determine whether you have a tiebreaker or not against a team that's competing in the Big 12 championship. Realistically, every single team that you play Iowa State and before are going to be the teams that are going to be in contention at the end.
Yeah.
Utah, Texas Tech, Iowa State, Baylor, TCU, Houston. Like, not Houston, but you
have Houston.
I mean, Houston as of right now. But I really do think that the season comes down to the next month in a week, I think, until you get to Iowa State.
Yeah, assuming
like, really,
that
that's what the season is.
Assuming there's no collapse, right, at the end of the season, depending on what happens here. This is what Arizona State's schedule looks like after the bye week. It is a daunting one. You are on the road against an unranked Utah team as it stands right now. They're 4-1 on the year, 1-1 in conference play. Following that game, you've got a big matchup. This could be for the first place standings in the Big 12 back at Mountain America Stadium. You've got a ranked Texas Tech team, a team on the fringe of being a top 10 team. They're undefeated as it stands right now, both on the year and in conference play. Then back at home, undefeated Houston, 4-0 just overall, and then undefeated still 1-0 in conference play. And then on the road, you are heading to Ames to take on an undefeated Iowa State team. Obviously, these things could all change in terms of records by the time you get to some of these games. But as it stands right now, the next 4 opponents for Arizona State have a combined record of 17-1.
That is tough.
That is tough. 2 of them
and
ranked,
the
and
loss?
one of them could be. Yeah, the one loss here is to one of the teams
In the 4.
In the 4.
Yeah. So that is probably the single hardest stretch in the Big 12 this season, bar none.
Yeah.
Right? I would be shocked if you could find me another team that has as hard of a 4-game stretch. At least how it plays out right now. Maybe by the end of the season, there are some teams that play other teams that kind of get right over the next 3 or 4 weeks. But Utah, Texas Tech, Houston, Iowa State, in the 2 road games being Utah and Iowa State. I mean, obviously Lubbock was a place that the Sun Devils struggled in the beginning of last year in Big 12 play, but those are 2 brutal road games.
Yeah.
Right? Ames is a fantastic environment. It's a hard place to play, and Utah, especially a night game on the road at Rice-Eccles Stadium, is one of the more daunting places to play in all of college football.
Oh, for sure.
Right? So when you look at this and you say, okay, 4-0, I think, is on the table. Like Arizona State, with how talented they are, I think not losing another game this season is technically on the table.
Yeah, it's the same energy that you were going into the season with.
Yeah.
Right? Saying that this team, that 12-0, is certainly on the table. Obviously, you didn't expect them to drop the Mississippi State game, but the talent is there, right? Like, it would be one thing if it was a continued regression or the issues continued to show up after Mississippi State, but
Sure.
It feels like a lot of those have been maybe not fully improved, but they have gotten cleaned up at least a bit. Obviously, the last 2 games that Arizona State has played, 27-24, coming down to the wire, but still you're beating 2 really fiery teams. But you've played 2 teams that don't necessarily have defenses. For me, that is what's different about these next 2 games specifically, is that not only are you on the road against Utah, but these are 2 teams in Utah and Iowa, or in Texas Tech, that do have really, really talented, imposing defenses.
Mm-hmm.
So that is really going to be maybe not a challenge, but it's going to be a first look at what this offense and this team look like when they have somebody that punches them in the mouth defensively. Because even Mississippi State, like, yeah, they did it off rip, but like
they lost their best defensive player in the second half.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't much. Like, I think that Tech and Utah have better defenses than Mississippi State, but that's just me.
No, I agree. I think when you look at these 4 games, is 3-1 okay? And if so, who does that one loss have to be for it to be like best case 3-1?
I mean, if it's best case, you go 3-1, you lose to Houston. That would be
which I think is interesting because that's the worst team out of
that
the
is the
four.
worst team. But if we're talking tiebreakers for head
At the
to
end,
head, then
yeah.
you'd love to get the wins over the ranked teams that you expect to be there down the stretch.
Mhm.
Still, Houston is kind of like we don't really know. 3-1 is certainly on the table, and if you go 3-1, it's not the end of the world. You would be totally fine down the stretch talking about this team returning to Dallas for a Big 12 championship, because the games that you have after the Iowa State contest, you've got Colorado, West Virginia, and then Arizona. 3 teams that you, as it stands right now, don't expect to be in that conversation of Big 12 contender at the end of the year. So if you were able to have the head-to-heads over Utah, Tech, and Iowa State, that would go a long, long way, especially if Arizona State beats Utah and Texas Tech. That is massive, because if you remember going back to last year, one of the tiebreakers, if these teams are tied record-wise and they haven't played head-to-head, is the common record against or the record against common opponents, right? So for Utah to have lost to Texas Tech, but Arizona State getting a win over Texas Tech, that would be huge in getting ahead of Utah in the end of the year race.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that Houston is the one loss. It's like best case scenario because we're obviously talking about the Big 12 championship and everything, but it is the worst team out of those 4.
Yeah.
Could you argue that a loss to Texas Tech, who feels like the best team in the conference right now based off of who they've played and how they've played, is that better overall? Like, is there any world where we're looking at this as if Arizona State loses one more game for the rest of the season, right? And Mississippi State is still good, and Texas Tech is a top 15, top 10 team in the country, right? Is there any chance that, okay, maybe they're the second team in the Big 12 championship and possibly get an at-large bid if their only losses are to 2 really good teams? Or is that something that we're just not even considering because it's the Big 12?
Yeah, if you're still looking at an at-large bid, the only way I see ASU getting an at-large bid is if they win out. That would be the only way, I think, realistically, that you could make it happen, right? Because we're talking about the number 25 team as it stands right now. If you lose a game in between now and then, I don't see a world where you get an at-large bid.
Tech doesn't lose a game? What if Tech's a top 10 team?
But you still lost to them, right? Sure. So it doesn't help you at the end of the day. It's still considered a good loss, but it doesn't do anything in terms of where you're going in the rankings. If you want to get an at-large bid at this point, you have to be undefeated, which kind of stinks, right? Because Shane and I were talking about this earlier. If Arizona State doesn't lose to Mississippi State, then you're probably talking about ASU being a top 6 team in the country right now. Yeah. Which we know what that would have done just for momentum in the program, et cetera. But you obviously got to play the hand you're dealt. And right now, I think for me, if we're talking at-large bid, you have to win out. In terms of the actual end of the year Big 12 stuff, it doesn't really matter in my mind who you lose to, because if you're going to lose one conference game and then win out, at the end of the day, you're going to have a really, really huge advantage over a lot of these teams. Because you look back last year, right? There was a tie at the end of the year with Arizona State, Colorado, Iowa State. A number of teams had the same conference record, and it was all more than one loss.
Yeah, Arizona State needed a tiebreaker to get in, and they needed Kansas to go on an incredible run at the end of the season, which they did. I think the one game that you really cannot afford to lose is Utah, because Utah already has a conference loss. If you beat Utah and give them 2 losses and then you lose to one of Tech, Houston, Iowa State, they're still sitting at 2 losses and you're just sitting at 1. And realistically, are Baylor and TCU going to run the table the rest of the season? Probably not. I'm pretty sure Houston plays Texas Tech this weekend, do they not?
Houston and Tech play this weekend.
So Houston and Tech play this weekend.
And Baron Morton is back in the lineup. He will start this weekend.
And so it's like, okay, well,
that's bad news, by the way.
That is bad news for
Tech.
It's bad news for Houston.
No, it's bad news for Tech.
You think it's bad news for Tech?
Yeah.
That Will Hammond's
that
not out
backup
there?
QB was slinging.
Will Hammond is the future.
I mean, at this point, you don't really care who wins, right? In all honesty, if you're an ASU fan, you should probably be rooting for Houston to win this game, because you want Texas Tech to be as high up in the rankings as possible when they play ASU.
So you want Houston to lose. You said Houston win this game. Did you not, or did I mishear you?
You want Houston to lose this game.
Yeah, you want Tech. You want Tech to win.
You need Tech to win, obviously, until Arizona State plays.
But realistically, if you yes, because then when you play Tech and you beat them, it's going to be a bigger deal. But again, if we're looking at this, and this is kind of like we're getting into the weeds here. But if we're looking at the tiebreaker scenario and everything, you kind of want Tech to lose a game so that if they do beat you, right, they have a loss in conference. And then if they let one more slip, then you both have 2 conference losses. But I think realistically, the most important thing is you want Tech at their highest for national recognition,
Absolutely.
but you also just need to win these games.
You do. That's the easiest way.
At the end of the day, we can talk about which game should you lose, which game shouldn't you lose, who's going to give you the tiebreaker, who's not. Just win the games.
Yeah, Parker Allen says it best. Al Davis said it. Just win, baby. That's all. That's all you got to do.
And even if you continue to win by 3 points, if you continue to win by a 1 score, right, but you're beating the best in the conference over the next couple, we saw Arizona State not really put together a blowout win until you got to the end of the season against Arizona and then Iowa State. Like, you do have a light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
When you have West Virginia and Colorado and Arizona, right? And again, I don't think Colorado's the worst team in this conference, but I don't think they're good. I don't think Arizona's the worst team in this conference, but I don't think they're good. West Virginia is closer, I think, to the bottom of the conference than those other 2, but I don't think, they're good.
Here's the thing that, like, and again, this is maybe not getting in the weeds. It's just ahead of the curve, right? In terms of like when we're talking about it versus when probably most of the country is going to be talking about it. Like, if you go through and you look at the rest of the schedules for the upper echelon teams in this conference, Iowa State, Arizona State, Texas Tech, and we can go ahead and include Utah in there.
What about BYU?
Sure. If we want to include BYU, we can, right? But like Texas Tech, in the grand scheme of things, if they beat Houston this week, the only real game that they're going to have to get up for, and again, I get it, BYU fans aren't going to like it, the only game they're going to have to get up for is on the road at Arizona State. Right?
Realistically, after beating Utah, ASU is their only true test.
Yeah, they've got Houston, Kansas, ASU on the road, then Oklahoma State, Kansas State. They're at home against BYU, which if you want to consider that the other game that they have to get up for, then sure. Then they've got UCF and West Virginia, right? They don't have many chances left as well to improve where they're at in terms of at-large, right?
Sure.
So they also need to just handle business and take care of these wins. Utah, on the other hand, is a team that after ASU, they also have BYU, but then they have Colorado, Cincinnati, which is an interesting one, Baylor on the road, another interesting one, then Kansas State, and then they finish up at Kansas, right? So still not the most challenging schedule in the world. If you've noticed, again, Utah already played Tech.
Yeah.
If they lose to ASU, they're way behind in this race.
They're going to need another team to upset.
1,000%.
Or even like an Iowa State, which Iowa State, look at Iowa State's schedule.
It's
pretty easy.
It's also pretty easy,
I mean,
right?
they have
Outside
BYU,
of ASU and TCU.
Yeah.
Like those
It's
are
a tough
those
3-week stretch.
Now, it's funny you bring up BYU because if there is a dark horse team that could find itself in the Big 12 championship, as much as I don't like the narrative right now that BYU is better than they're getting respect for, they have so many opportunities to prove that. Right?
Oh,
BYU as an undefeated team right now, if they run the table, by far the team that is going to be a Big 12 in the Big 12 championship. And for me, as a team that's still undefeated, they have probably the best bet to be an at-large bid team not named Texas Tech, because if they take care of business against West Virginia and Arizona,
which they should,
if they're as good as everybody thinks they are, then they're at home against Utah. They are at Iowa State, and then they're at Texas Tech, and then they're at home against TCU. Then they're at Cincinnati. That is a brutal, brutal stretch, as brutal as Arizona State has.
I'd say that's the only stretch that we've looked at that we could say realistically lines up with what Arizona
100%.
State has
So,
over the next
like,
4 games.
Arizona State doesn't necessarily control their own path, right? Well, I guess they do. You
win out.
You win out. You go undefeated in conference play. Yeah, you're in the Big 12 championship. Sure. But, like, BYU has a chance week over week to literally get tiebreaker after tiebreaker after tiebreaker over some of these teams. Arizona State is going to have to do it after the bye week, and it was already a brutal stretch, right? Like, everyone's going to focus in on these 4 games because it's a 17-1 combined record of these next 4 opponents. But TCU and Baylor were top dogs in this conference in, like, over the last couple of weeks. Yeah. And you beat them.
Well, and the thing with Baylor is obviously Baylor does have a conference loss. Right now they're 3-2 on the season, but you could argue that they have one of the easier schedules going forward. I mean, they play Kansas State this week, which is easy. And then you have at TCU. That's a tough game. Then at Cincinnati. We'll see. I think better than people expect, but not an upper echelon team in the conference. Versus UCF, versus Utah, at Arizona versus Houston. Again, like when we say easier schedule in the Big 12, there are a lot of good teams in the Big 12. You look at Kansas, you look at Cincinnati, right? Like these are middle of the pack teams in the Big 12 that
They're
are
wild
dangerous.
card teams.
And they can beat anybody on any given night, right? Because Jalen Daniels put up 500 yards of offense, right? And lost the game to Cincinnati because Rip Sorsby decided to have himself a game as well. Like you do have a conference that cannibalizes itself a little bit and has like these kind of crazy losses. Again, going into last season, the last 4 weeks of the season, Kansas, who was awful, went on a run to take down some of the best teams in the Big 12 in order to give ASU a chance.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, some of these teams, they might have what appears to be an easier schedule going forward. But maybe a Kansas State, maybe a UCF, maybe a West Virginia, right? Maybe these are teams that can kind of shock people.
Yeah.
And a week from now, if Houston beats Texas Tech, we're having a completely different conversation.
Oh man, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, Wes Beasy. No shorts next time. I'll go pants.
That's
So
insane.
stop calling it that.
I'll go pants.
I don't like that.
Um,
I don't
Also,
like that.
I just want to formally apologize to Sharon also again. I haven't seen her in the chat since the start of the
Sharon,
show.
are you
gosh.
still here? The mother of the chat has left because we got the new Kenny emoji.
We need to stomp the bus emoji just for Sharon.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with all the more supporters we get, the more emojis
I feel like
get.
we deserve 2 emojis. Because what we're tied with U of A right now?
ASU has 3 emojis.
And U of A has 3. We added
No, they
15.
don't. I deleted one.
Yeah.
You deleted one?
Yeah.
That's hard.
It's awesome. They
That's
got to earn
hard.
them. You got to
That's what I told 'em.
absolutely earn those emojis. So
That's hard.
ASU
Now that I know you deleted one, that was
ASU
great.
earned. U of A still
Look at
still
all
work
this
to be done.
green in the chat.
Still work to be done. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever
Spam the Kenny
you
until Sharon
get
comes
your
back.
Spam
podcast.
Kenny's.
Let's see it. I want to see just the spam. Yeah, spam
Yeah,
the new
I
We
Kenny
need
emojis
Sharon
in
to
there.
put a Kenny in the chat.
I want the entire chat to be all Kennys right now.
Let's see it.
Let's make it
Kenny
happen,
it up.
chat.
Let's go ahead and see it, guys. We're going to talk how Arizona State can be 4-0 over the next 4 games on the other side of this quick break. Look, guys, Arizona State has a bye week this week, so you're going to be enjoying college football Saturday, not having to worry about whether or not Arizona State gets the job done. You're also going to have some big NFL games on Sunday, so how are you going to respond? Well, the answer is indulge. Indulge in some pure edibles, pure gummies. They're not covered in sugar like all of their competitors, but they taste like candy, which is pretty rare when it comes to edibles. They're a full-fledged candy company offering gummies. They've got Kicks, which are their version of Starburst, Chews, soft candies like caramel, and then hard candies as well. Now, pure gummies are designed to be ripped or bit in half, making them easily shareable or easy to dial in your exact dose. If you are trying to make college football a Saturday 10 times what it is, well, try the uplifting ones, or if you have trouble sleeping, try the sleep support gummies as well. Go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona.
Can we get the one shot on Totri? Because Totri's looking pretty good. I don't know if you can see it, though, because it's an all-white hat with the bright lights, but that Brandon Bills hat is special. It's
It is
not just
really
a white
special.
hat. That's a Sparky.
That is
That's
a white Sparky
out
here, man.
Sparky. Listen, Brandon Bills always has you covered with the absolute best hats in the game. They have partnerships with 40 universities, but of course, none better than Arizona State University. You always see new heat getting dropped at Brandon Bills, and they always have you covered with performance and with style. Snapbacks, truckers, fitted, beanies, or tees. They've got you covered. And by you covered, I literally mean you and your business, because you can partner with Brandon Bills and get yourself some custom headwear like we have here at PHNX. And you know that we love supporting local, and they are a local company despite having national success out of Mesa, Arizona. Head to brandonbills.com, use code BBPHNX. That's BBPHNX for 15% off your first order.
I love it. All the Kenny
All
emojis
the Kennys in the
just
chat.
getting spammed all the way through. Still haven't seen Mother Sharon at any point, so we'll see.
You think Sharon just stopped watching the
We'll
show
see.
forever?
We'll see if Sharon
was the final
returns
straw.
to the chat at any point. I know Shane threw in a message in the Die Hard Discord too, so we will see if Mother Sharon is okay. I do want to tell all you guys before we continue talking about Arizona State about the Rally House live show that we're going to have going on October 3rd at 12:30, PHNX Cardinals live show hosted by our friends over at Rally House over in the West Valley at their Glendale location. And it's 2 days before the Cardinals host the Tennessee Titans. And then, of course, first overall pick, Cam Ward. Make sure you go out there, check out the show, see Bo and Johnny in person. Plus, you're going to have a chance to win some awesome things, giving away 5 $50 Rally House gift cards to the fans in attendance. The best duo in Arizona sports. It's PHNX Cardinals and Rally House.
And us.
And yeah.
But yes, those
and
are
us.
great. Those are great.
And the Dilly
duos.
emoji.
Yes. Some news just on the Iowa State side of things.
Yeah.
I know Lee Corso has mentioned this as well. They've lost now their 2 starting cornerbacks to ACL
tough.
injuries, which is really tough. John Tez Williams out for the year. I mean, these are two of the cornerbacks that they lost were like all Big 12 caliber cornerbacks. Like these are 2 of the better ones.
There's
in the
good
conference.
secondary.
A really good secondary. But now, especially in this conference with these quarterbacks
And these wide receivers.
that is a tough loss for the season.
Yeah, 1,000%, right? Especially because some of the players that have already had really electric starts to this Arizona State season, and like they are your quarterback and your wide receiver and guys that can make big-time plays. On the note of guys for Arizona State that need to continue to play well if the Sun Devils are going to get back to the Big 12 championship, it's these guys. It's these Arizona State Sun Devils that have had a monster start to the season that need to keep it up if Dilly and the Devils are going to make a return to Dallas. Sam Leavitt, Jordyn Tyson, Raleek Brown, Keyshawn Elliott, Jordan Crook, CJ Fight, Miles Rouser, Keith Abney, and Clayton Smith. Erik, if you had to pick just maybe two of all those Arizona State Sun Devils that you could ensure continued to have ridiculous seasons, who would you pick? Not named Sam Leavitt and Jordyn Tyson.
I'm about to be so lame.
Not named Sam Leavitt and Jordyn Tyson.
Not named Sam Leavitt and Jordyn Tyson. Ooh, in this conference, give me Keith Abney, who's been one of the best corners in the country.
Yeah, 100%. I saw another mock draft today that had him in the first round.
Yeah, he's really good. And then I'll take Raleek.
Okay.
I think Raleek Brown leads the Big 12 in rushing.
Yeah.
Arizona State's identity has been running the ball despite having Sam Leavitt and Jordyn Tyson. I think if Raleek can keep up this level of play for the entire season, that is a dynamic offense that many people cannot replicate in this conference, right? So if you can get Keith Abney to continue to be shut down, Keith Abney Island, and then Raleek Brown leaving people on their own island as he passes by on his motorboat, then I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I love that.
That was really bad.
It wasn't bad. It was just weird.
It was just
bad.
out there.
You're a
Just
weird
out
guy.
there.
I'm having a day.
Alan says, can another wide receiver please show up?
No.
Well, another wide receiver may show up in the emerging players conversation that we'll get to a little bit later on in today's show. Requisite Whim says Jesus and Prince as well. Jesus Gomez, again, back-to-back weeks with a game winner for the Sun Devils, and then we know Prince Dorba was one of, if not the best player.
If Prince Dorba's going to play like that every week, if I can pick one player to replicate one game performance, and it's Prince Dorba for the rest of this.
The only reason I didn't have Dorba on this graphic is because it felt like it was more of a one game.
It's so far.
Yes. I would 100%.
That was like the Prince Dorba has arrived.
It's not even arrived. It's welcome back.
Well, yeah, I guess
it's like we
arrived over the last 2 years.
Like Prince Dorba's been here a while, right? He was here when BJ Green was here, and he was at a certain point still tied with BJ for the most sacks on the team. So going into last year, it was kind of like okay, we expect you to do X, Y, and Z. It didn't really happen because of injuries. And now to see him kind of feast that way, I think has been huge. But I think for me, I would double down and say that Raleek Brown is certainly on that list, right? Of players that you're going to need to continue to be really, really elite because of what it does for this Arizona State team offensively, right? In terms of opening up the pass game with Sam Leavitt and Jordyn Tyson. Like if you want them to continue to be elite, then this ground game needs to continue to be one of the best in the conference, because if it's not, then you got what that looks like. That looks like the Mississippi State game, right? Where you can't run the ball, or you're not running the ball early on. You have to open it up. The defense is already bracketing Jordyn Tyson. They understand that he is the best wide receiver in the conference, that he is the threat to score at any given play, and that Sam wants to feed him the football. So you're going to need Raleek Brown to keep up what he is doing, which as it stands right now is I mean, he's the best running back in the Big 12 through several weeks.
Yeah.
And
You need the best anything in the Big 12. Keith, Raleek, keep that up consistently.
I would say my other answer is Clayton Smith.
Clayton's been awesome.
On the same token of the Prince Dorba note, right? If Arizona State is going to continue to be a really, really aggressive team down the stretch, you've got a Sun Devil defense that, again, is second in the country in sacks, that is first in the Big 12, and Clayton Smith has been leading that charge as it stands right now. So if he's able to continue to do that, then this defense is going to make life difficult for the next 4 games, those next 4 quarterbacks that they're going to have to see.
Well, speaking of consistent greatness, Bees in the chat.
Gifting a membership.
Did y'all know you could do this? You can gift a membership, and I think it randomly assigns it to somebody in chat. B says, hopefully Jalen is active. That would be great. I don't think I've seen Jalen comment.
Jalen Dorsey, hip yummy cow 21.
Hip yummy cow 21 is awesome. You are now a member. Congratulations.
I'd love to see a comment.
Welcome to see a comment
from Jalen Dorsey.
Drop the Kenny emoji in chat. Maybe Jalen Dorsey can be our new Sharon, as Sharon has abandoned us because of the Kenny emoji.
Well, we don't know that.
I feel very bad.
Dude, she's gone.
I know.
She's never coming back.
She was very upset.
Yeah.
Very upset. And it's all Shane's fault.
It is all my fault.
And the scariest part is, like, it's not like, oh, guys, I couldn't make it, couldn't watch the show. Like, she was here.
She was here.
She said
hate
it, and then
hatred.
left.
No, she said hatred.
Hatred,
Yeah.
all caps.
And then she dropped an F-bomb.
Did she?
Oh,
Yes.
did she? Oh, wow.
Wow. I didn't see the
I
F-bomb. Wow.
Wow.
That's tough.
Oh, my God.
That is tough. That is
Oh my
really,
God.
really tough.
Sharon, no.
Chat, I want to know on your end, which Sun Devil needs to keep up the pace that they're on? Not named Tyson and Leavitt, because
Keyshawn
that would be
Elliott?
the easy. That would be the easiest answers. If Arizona State is going to win the next 4 games and start Big 12 play, get this 6-0. It would be ridiculous if the Sun Devils were able to win the next 4 games. But again, you're going to need these guys to continue to improve. I think the pace that you're on is great. It's solid. Some of these Sun Devils are going to need to take it up a notch even if ASU is going to be 4-0 in the next 4 games.
Oh, yeah. You cannot have already played your best football this season over these last 5 games. You just can't. You have to continue to get better.
Who do you have, Shane?
I would say it would be somebody on the defensive line.
So CJ?
Yeah. It's hard though because I want more from CJ.
Yeah, but this is the thing, and you're not the only one that said this. Is CJ doesn't stuff the stat sheet.
I know.
It's not what he does.
But that's not what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for. I want to see more impact plays where he is just blowing up a run.
I just disagree with you. But that, I mean, yes,
you don't want to see that.
You want to? No, I want
it.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
But it's.
He's been playing great. I'm not saying
He
he's
has.
not.
The reason why this defense is third, I think, in the conference right now in terms of like against the run is because CJ Fight is here.
He's playing great. But what did we say at the start of the season? He might be your best player on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So far, he's played like a really good player on defense.
Really good player.
Not a great player on defense yet. And there's there's a lot of it is scheme and how this works, but I want to see a Jadeveon Clowney type play.
I don't think you'll ever get that from CJ Fight. He's just not that type.
Well, I'm not saying a sack. I'm saying like what we saw in that viral clip where you blow off that's the center and swallow up the running back.
But that was also pause. That was also a play by the eventual number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft.
You're making excuses.
I'm not. I'm just saying that's not the type of player CJ Fight is. CJ Fight doesn't have a motor like Jadeveon Clowney did at what? South Carolina? Where was he at? Like that was what he did was ungodly. CJ Fight's a different type of player.
I know he is.
He's just like the A gaps are his. They belong to CJ Fight. If you go check his pockets, that's where you'll see 2 A gaps. And opposing offenses won't get him back.
You heard it here first, Chet. Totri doesn't want more out of our players. Totri thinks that.
Bro, that's how I felt like people were spinning all the stuff I was saying.
Totri thinks that the baseline is just fine.
It's not that he's like, I just don't know.
He's been playing really good. I want him to play great.
You want ridiculousness.
Yeah, because he's a ridiculous build. Here's the thing. Here's why. Is because it's not like he is getting his first taste this year. Like, we've been expecting greatness for him since he was a freshman here. I want the greatness. I want to be talking about him every single post-game show.
I think we can. Like, if we truly wanted to, you could make an argument that he's easily one of the best players on this defense.
I think he's top 5. I want him to be top 3.
What do you think? It's an interesting place to take the conversation, but sure, let's go there.
I think you can get a little bit more out of him.
Okay.
I think you can. But I think that's just because we hold him to a really high standard. We talked about him as somebody who could be like a first-round pick or day one pick.
I never said he could be a first-round pick. I'm going to put this out there. You said he could be a first-round pick.
We might need to run the tape on that one.
We can 100% go run the tape on it.
We might need to run the tape on that.
Well, let's run it. Let's run it.
He can be a higher draft pick, and I think like when you're having a conversation about the defensive line, and let's be like the defensive line as a whole has really massively improved.
No D lineman, by the way, on this team has more tackles than CJ Fight.
Sure, I think the defensive line as a whole has massively improved, and that's why I think a lot of the conversation has gone away from CJ Fight is because you are getting contributions from a Prince Torba, from a Clayton Smith, from an Elijah O'Neal as well. Like you have a lot of people who are stepping up, but I think that we are now having a conversation where it's like, oh, on a week-to-week basis, maybe there is somebody else who's being the best player on the defensive line. Now, that's a high standard to hold CJ Fight to every single week be the best player on the defensive line, and I think he's certainly in that conversation. I think it is like, it's one of those things where it's like, you're both right. Like, yeah, you can get a little bit more from him, but also he's been incredible. Like, these are two things that can be true at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think you're both right. Not to like be the fence rider here, but I think you both make
new
good
nickname,
points.
The fence rider. Look, he leads of all the defensive linemen. Like I said, he's got the most tackles on the team.
He's still been one of the best players.
He's got a
defense.
sack. He's got a forced fumble. We're 2 weeks into conference play. I think his numbers at the end of the year are going to look a little bit more dramatic.
Yeah, but I'm not saying he's not playing good.
You want him to play. You want as the best player on this defense.
Here's what I want. I just want
You do want him to play like the best player on the defense.
Well, yeah, I want everyone to play like the best player on the defense. That'd be great. Here's what I want.
All the best players.
I want to notice him every single play, or not every single play because that'd be unfair. But like when you're watching football, your eyes avert to the ball all the time. I want to be like, oh my God, the center is sitting in the quarterback's lap because CJ Fight just mauled him.
Sure. Yeah.
More often than not.
I think that's a fair expectation considering that CJ the last couple of off seasons has wanted to work more on his pass rush. But I think also part of the reason why Clayton Smith and Prince Torba are getting to the quarterback at the rate that they are, including Keyshawn Elliott, who is like top 5 in sacks as well, in the middle is because CJ Fight requires a double team because of the size. So I hear where you're coming from. I think we both agree CJ Fight's a great player. Yeah. We
just want him to play a little worse.
I don't want him to play. I never said that. I never said that I wanted him to play worse.
You wanted him to play a little bit worse, and Shane thinks he sucks. Like that's what I took from that conversation.
Yeah. He's great. He's literally the best defensive lineman on the roster. Like I think that's pretty clear.
He's awesome.
B saying Clayton Smith has really grown his game under Coach Reynolds. Very impressed with the leap he has taken this year alongside Prince Torba. Yeah, most certainly. I'm excited to see what the edge rushers look like if they can keep this pace up, because if they can keep this pace up, then it is certainly going to make it a hell of a lot easier to win those next 4 games against those really, really good opponents. But you could maybe make the argument that it wouldn't even be enough if all the players that are already playing well continued to play at a high rate. You're going to need other players to step up and deliver when they're asked to. So which Arizona State Sun Devils have already played a little bit of a role but need to maybe step up even more and emerge? We've got the answer for you on the other side of this quick break.
Akeem LeMahieu. Sorry. I'm on that Zen Leaf.
Yeah.
Listen.
You need to be.
It's never been easier to get weed with Zen Leaf because they want to give you 50% off. Who's
5-0?
doing that? 5-0, not 15,
5-0.
not 5, not 500, because then that'd be kind of crazy.
They'd be paying you?
But 50% off flowers, vapes, edibles, and more. However you choose to indulge in your THC, they have it for thee at Zenleaf for 50% off a one-time fee. Use code ZEN PHNX, ZEN PHNX, and get 50% off whether you're going to Chandler, Gilbert, North Phoenix, or any of their other 8 locations all across the valley. You can order it online for express pickup after you work out or before a game. All you gotta do is use promo code ZEN, PHNX, Zen Leaf. Great weed, great service every time.
Look, with all the money that you guys save from our PHNX partners, you need somewhere to put it. Look no further than Mountain America Credit Union. It sounds familiar, right? Because Arizona State, well, their home field, their home stadium is Mountain America Stadium. So what do you get with Mountain America's My Style checking account? Well, you get perks. You guys can enjoy restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, loan rate discounts. My personal favorite, offers on travel and events, but it doesn't stop there. There is so much more. Make My Style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Plus, on top of all of those perks, they're also looking out for your Arizona State Sun Devils, providing $20,000 in scholarships to local student athletes each year. Learn more at macu.com/ASU, insured by NCUA. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Loans on approved credit. Hit the like button.
Do it.
Hit the subscribe button.
Do it.
Drop a 5-star review.
Do it.
Wherever you get your podcast. I've seen this comment a couple times. This one's from Sick Paths, though, saying that you need more production from the running back room. With obviously Raleek Brown leading the conference in rush yards, he has been a absolute workhorse to start conference play. The three-headed monster that we see, or that we saw in fall camp, that we heard so much about, has left kind of a little bit to be desired outside of Raleek Brown. Now, to be fair, Kyson Brown was dealing with an injury. We know that he missed the second half and pretty much the majority of that Mississippi State game. You got him back last couple of weeks. The involvement hasn't necessarily been there in the offense, which obviously means the production hasn't been there as well. And then Kanye Udoh, a guy who was your X Factor last week.
That's kind of rude to bring that up.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there with context, right? Also hasn't necessarily been as productive as maybe you would like to see. Where do you stand on the Arizona State running backs as it stands through the first couple weeks of conference play?
It's bittersweet, because if you told me that you would have an individual performer like Raleek Brown, I would be thrilled. But if you told me that overall this is what you were getting from all three combined, at least how they split it up, I'd be disappointed. We said the strength of this running back room was the numbers, was the depth, was the three-headed monster, and realistically, it's just been a monster. And
which is fine. It's been a great monster.
The monster's been a great monster, right? But I think when you look at some of the specific struggles with this team, what's up, Geese Man? When you look at some of the specific struggles with this team, especially when it comes to the red zone, you look at two running backs in Kyson Brown and Kanye Udoh that realistically, like on paper, should help be the solutions to those problems, and yet they're not for two different reasons. Obviously, Kyson dealing with an injury, at least until recently, and then for Kanye, we haven't heard anything as far as injuries go or anything like that. He just hasn't been playing. Right? Well, he's been playing. He just hasn't been getting carries. And so when, I'm sorry, these guys kill me, man.
Aaron and Geesey.
And Geesey. Oh, man. Anyway, when you look at the running back room and say, yes, I'd like to have the depth of the running back room step up a little bit, if the sacrifice to that is you get the best running back in the conference in Raleek Brown, that is a sacrifice that you need to make, right? If it's one or the other, if it's, hey, we have a good three-headed monster, or we have the singular best running back in the Big 12, you usually take the top-end talent.
Yeah, you're taking the singular best running back.
Right. That being said, if we could have a little bit more of a balance of both, and those two guys can step up along with Raleek not losing his production and continuing to get more workload and more carries, then that makes this an offense that it's like, wow, what a dynamic element to it beyond just Raleek, and that would make you dangerous.
Wes Beasy says the RB room and tight end room need more production. Harpool has become the second best, but we can get much more production from both groups. I would agree.
Your guy, Kamari Anderson, you're going to put me on the spot with Kanye.
He just hasn't been involved. Like
they tried in the red zone.
Yeah, I mean, like Wes Beasy says, you're seeing more of Cameron Harpool than you are Kamari Anderson. Like, and that I think is just a testament to Harpool, what he does in terms of run blocking as well. He's also become a pretty reliable like passing threat. When you throw him the ball, he catches the football, right? Which at the end of the day is the only thing that matters outside that final score, right? Is when your quarterback throws you the ball, you catch it.
Yeah.
Right? Which there hasn't been a ton of that from the pass catchers on this team outside of Jordyn Tyson, right? There have been kind of some issues with that.
Honestly,
which is
where does he stand as far as like receiving yards?
Receiving yards. I don't know.
Harpool.
He's got to be.
He's got 4 receptions, which is 1, 2,
like third on the team.
4, 5, 6th. 6th on the team with 4 receptions for 32 yards.
It's more than the second best wide receiver, right?
Yeah. Eusebio has 3 for 93, so
How
Eusebio
is
has
this
a
team
ton.
good?
Eusebio has a
great.
ton more yards, but 1 less reception, right? Kyson Brown actually has 8 receptions. Shaman has 17. Raleek has 19. Jaron Hamilton has 1. Kamari Anderson has 2 for 3.
Yeah.
Malik McClain has 5, so more than
Malik
Harpool.
McClain has 5 catches.
He has 5 catches for 39 yards.
No way.
Yeah.
I feel
My
like I
guy.
missed 3 of them.
I think I missed 4 of them.
Yeah. You're a guy. You've been chanting Akeem Laneyu's name in the
LeMayu,
closet
get it
when we're
right.
not live.
Get it right.
What did I say?
Linnaeus?
What'd you say?
It's LeMayu.
Okay. LeMayu.
Come on, dude.
When he catches it, then I'll call it right.
Yeah, man. If you told me,
I love how you were in the camp of Malik McClain,
I am.
and then
I believe.
a few games you go to the next tallest receiver,
I believe.
and you're like, I believe in this guy because he's tall
I
too.
believe.
Come on, man. Look,
Malik needs to be better.
you know what I want to see? In
Malik
this,
running the Drewski round yesterday when he got the PI from.
stop it. Don't do him like
Dude,
that,
that
bro.
is that is really nasty.
That's messed up, man. It's legal but nasty.
He's better than that, man.
Look,
You know he's better than
Do you
that.
know that?
I've got your solution.
That's nasty. What you just said.
What'd
is
he say?
nasty. He said, "Do you know that he's better than that?
Who's better than that?
Do you know that he's a better route runner than that? I don't.
He's better than."
He's not really. I mean, he didn't do that.
Come
See,
on.
you're being nasty.
You're being nasty
He didn't
again.
do that.
He
had a-
kind of did, bro. He kind of
he
did.
broke off his route pretty bad, and that's just kind of that's not who
Hey,
he is. He's not a
got
great
the
route
PI.
runner.
He got the PI. That's all that matters. He got the PI. That's all that matters.
Jason
First
Brown.
down.
I want to see him.
JBJ.
I
You
want
wanna
to see him.
Jason
Come on.
Brown?
I want to see
What about
JBJ.
Man? We
Yeah,
saw him
no,
already.
Man Man?
I want.
We
I
saw
want.
Man before JBJ.
I think your solution to your red zone and short yardage issues is Jason Brown Jr.
You know I'm with that.
I genuinely believe that he
Interesting.
could be the answer. I don't know if Dilly believes he's the answer, like just in terms of like we're gonna throw him in and see what happens. But I think it is again like it's simpler in my eyes than what the red zone struggles are. I would love to see it. I would absolutely. I think he could feast in short yardage. I said it in fall camp and spring ball when I was watching him. He's just so difficult to tackle, right? Because he's so small. He's got the lower center of gravity, similar to Raleek Brown, but it does feel like he's stockier, right? He's built a little bit bigger. So I think Jason Brown Jr. could be an option there. And I'd be interested to see what he does in terms of carries, right? Because like everyone is saying, you're not necessarily getting a ton of production in carries on the ground outside of Raleek Brown. So sure, like let's throw him in, right? Sure. Jason Brown Jr. has already got his red shirt. He already redshirted. So let's see it. Like you're not going to redshirt any longer.
Double red shirt.
Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see what he looks like in this offense now. Although again, they have thrown in man in a couple different opportunities.
You know how many carries Kyson Brown has this year? Just off the top of your head, how many carries does Kyson
25?
Brown have?
No, less than that. I'm gonna go with 14.
18.
Yeah,
For 106 yards. 5.9 yards
that's
per
a
carry.
great game,
Yeah.
right?
Kanye has 39 carries for 156 yards.
How many
Sam-
of those yards were in the Mississippi State game?
I think he had over 100 in the
He did.
Mississippi
He
State
did have
game.
100. I think he had like 110 or something.
Sam, 281 yards on 55 carries.
Sam's your second leading rusher
Yeah.
on this team.
And he has your most rushing touchdowns with 5. Raleek is 77 carries for 506 yards. 6.6 yards per carry. 2 touchdowns.
Gluck guessed. He said 19. Damn,
Gluck
one
was
off.
close. Very, very good, Gluck. You're that close. Should we get into the graphic?
Yeah, we can. We
I
can.
feel like we just had the conversation without the graphic.
Well, no, we talked
I guess
about the
about
running
running
backs
backs.
and the wide receivers, but I do think there are some other players that could emerge on this team, and they've already showed hints, right? Martell Hughes, obviously, with the walk-off interception this past week. Rodney Bimmage Jr. has been really, really good when he's in the ball game. I think there have been a couple times where he's been maybe burned, but because of the plays that he's making on the ball, you don't necessarily see that, right? You see the pass breakups. Boogie Wilson, I mean, with the absence of Montana Warren and Xavier Alford, I don't know if there's anybody who's been a better surprise so far than Boogie Wilson. Prince Dorba, who we talked about a little bit ago, and what he did this past week against TCU. If that's a consistent thing, watch out. And then Derek Eusebio, right? Over the last couple of weeks, definitely been a little bit more involved in the offense. I think there's still room for him to grow there. Out of those 5 emerging players, which one do you think could have the biggest impact on success for ASU over the next 4 games?
I mean, if Prince Orba plays like he did last week, then it's Prince Orba by a mile, right? But realistically, when you look at Bimage and you look at Boogie Wilson with the hits that the secondary has taken, they're going to probably have the biggest opportunity to do so. I think what I'm most interested by with this is the fact that you put Eusebio there. And not necessarily that I disagree with Eusebio, but what about Jaron Hamilton?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
what about him?
I mean, Jaron Hamilton needs to step up, man.
Yeah.
Especially with what we heard from Hines Ward about the playbook and everything, and the fact that the only guy stopping Jaron Hamilton is Jaron Hamilton.
Yeah.
You saw what he could do with that 44-yard reception against TCU, right?
He's talented. There's no doubt about it.
Right, and there's no doubt about it. And I love Eusebio. Eusebio makes plays, right? And that is something that he's done, and that's fantastic. But realistically, if Derek Eusebio is your wide receiver 2 on this team, with as great as he could play, like that's going to put a ceiling on this team, right? If Derek Eusebio is wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, and is still making plays, but like you need a guy like Jaron Hamilton to certify himself as wide receiver 2. You need that.
I would push back with you on that simply because of how talented Jordyn Tyson is. It immediately makes whatever your wide receiver 2 does on a consistent basis less relevant. So I don't think having Derek Eusebio as a true wide receiver 2 puts any ceiling on this team, because as it stands right now, there still isn't a wide receiver 2. Now, the issue with Jaron Hamilton, the reason I didn't put Jaron on this graphic is when I hear a coach talk about the playbook, that for me is a red flag immediately in terms of what you're going to be able to accomplish this season.
Yeah. Especially when you're 5 weeks in.
It's way longer than 5 weeks in. Like you've been here since spring ball, right? You've been here now since December. If we are now in September talking about playbook issues, that is to me a statement of like, okay, there's just like, there needs to be more of a commitment to it. Right, on his end. If it truly is playbook stuff, then you need to be far more committed to it. The talent's there. That's obvious. It's clear.
And I think that's why I think the ceiling that he can bring, right, and the element that he can bring, I get it. Like, I think you are fine. I get, like, Eusebio's wide receiver 2, especially with how he's played and the plays that he's made. I mean, 3 receptions for 93 yards is nuts, right? You're not going to keep up 31 yards per reception for the season. But if you could have a guy like Jaron consistently giving you these deep shots and to go alongside Jordyn Tyson, that raises your floor and your ceiling. I agree. And I get what you're saying, where it's like, how realistic is that? Well, with the playbook stuff, that's tough. And that makes it a lot less realistic.
That's why he's not on that graphic.
But he's still playing. The thing is, he's not like Malik last year. He's not like Malik last year who redshirts. He's playing. He's not redshirted.
That's because of the talent. That's because of talent, and he's already redshirted. He's already redshirted.
He needs to step up.
He does.
He is playing, and the step up can be in different ways. He needs to be good enough with the playbook and comfortable enough with the playbook that they trust him to go out on the field and make plays like he did against TCU, because they don't win that game.
They're not having
without him.
Here's the thing, is they're not really having him run plays, right? They're having Jaron Hamilton run go routes and double moves. Like, if you go back and you watch the snaps that he's played, that's what it is. They're having him go deep, right? If you're going to be a wide receiver 2 on this team, there is far more that goes into what you do on a game-to-game basis than running straight vertically. Does he present the biggest challenge to opposing defenses outside of Jordyn Tyson? Absolutely, right? Because like B said, you can't teach speed like that, right? No. It certainly makes it a really difficult challenge for the safeties and for the corners when you're in man if you have a guy like Jaron Hamilton opposite Jordyn Tyson. It's a pain in the ass for sure. But if all you're doing is running go routes and double moves, then the defenses aren't really going to respect you, right? It's immediately, hey, you're in, we know what you're doing, right? You have to be able to go in there and run block on the perimeter. You have to be able to go in there and run actual route concepts outside of a go and a double move. You have to be able to do it. So the reason I don't have him on that graphic is because, again, when I hear playbook, when we are 8 months in, that's a red flag to me. Yeah. The talent is evident. It's clear. It's there. More needs to be put in off the field if he is going to be that wide receiver 2.
Agreed. But that's why I think we're talking about step-up time, right? That's controllable. That is the controllable, right? You should not be getting outworked as Jaron Hamilton when you transfer in from Alabama and you have the opportunity that you have here, right? Like that, you shouldn't be getting outworked. And maybe he's working hard, but maybe there is just something that's blocked. I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
We aren't there. But what we have heard is Hines Ward go out and say the only guy stopping Jaron Hamilton is Jaron Hamilton. We expected much more out of him. We had some people in chat saying that he was going to have 1,000 yards this season.
Yeah.
Right? The reason why I think he belongs in that graphic, maybe not instead of Eusebio, but along with Eusebio, is because if Jaron Hamilton stops getting in the way of Jaron Hamilton, that takes this offense from what it already is, which is dynamic, to undoubtedly elite. To have a guy like that who can do the small things and take the top off of a defense while you have Jordyn Tyson, and then you have Eusebio and Shaman working in that in-between game as everybody's focused on the other two. And then you got the best running back in the Big 12 and the best running quarterback in the Big 12 who also has a crazy cannon of an arm, right? You just add that one more element in there. As great as it is to have a wide receiver too, if it is Eusebio and all the great things that he does bring, which are great, the greatness that Jaron Hamilton could bring will elevate you to a higher level.
I agree with you, but we're in what, week 6? I'm done talking.
You're in your bye week.
You're right,
and you're not picking
up a playbook in a bye week.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't done it since December, then you're just, it's probably not going to happen this year, right? That's where I'm at. And I'm not saying it won't, but I'm saying odds are looking like that.
Sure.
Right now, the thing that I would say is versus what Malik did last year is he is playing, right? That's shows you that the talent is there.
Well, he has no choice. I guess they have a choice if they're going to actually put him on the field.
Yeah.
But he cannot do what Malik did last year, which is redshirt.
Correct. Yeah, he can't redshirt. He's a redshirt freshman.
Malik saved his year of eligibility and then played in the 2 biggest games and made 2 of the biggest plays of the season.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have that choice with Jaron. He's there. They obviously see the ability in him. I'm curious. I don't even know how many targets he has. Right? Because it's not like they're throwing the ball to him
3,
all
4.
the time.
He's got 1 catch, right?
Yeah.
He's got 3 or 4 targets.
Throwing the ball to him all the time.
No, he's got 3 or 4 targets. Again, for me, it's more of like right now he's a decoy. Right?
Sure.
He's running downfield. Like he's clearly able to make difficult catches, so safeties have to be over the top.
When we're saying step up, I don't need him to step up.
That's why I didn't say step up. I said emerge.
Right. We don't need him to emerge into the guy that,
he's currently submerged. He's submerged.
I think what you need to do is you need him to
emerge.
You need him to emerge as a relatively consistent threat. I don't think you need him to emerge as like, wow, this guy is certified wide receiver 2 and he's making big plays, every single drive, every single game. But you need him to be better than what he has been. And with the big play ability, if he can do what he did against TCU, just slightly more consistently, that we're not in the bye week talking about 1 catch for 44 yards for this guy, that in its own right is a massive improvement.
Geesey bringing up B saying I think Hamilton gets a bigger role next year. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think Hamilton is going to be a key piece of this offense for several years to come. But again, you got to be familiar with the playbook if you're going to hit the field and you're going to be a consistent weapon on this team. Jalen Moss is obviously a very interesting one as well as somebody who we haven't really seen throughout the first several weeks. We'll see if we see him against Utah. I think that would be another wrinkle to this offense.
Be great.
Which would be super fun to see now, a consistent wide receiver too, because we're still waiting to kind of see that. But I think the moral of the story is this team has played really well, right? They're 4-1, second consecutive season, first time since 2011, 2012. They have looked great at moments. They have been, shaky at times, but at the end of the day, they've won 4 games to 1 loss. They get a week now to really self-scout for the next few days before you prep with Utah, get healthy, recover, just let your bodies get to where they need to be before you do have a brutal stretch of 4 games where, again, as they stand right now, you got 2 ranked opponents, both in the top 15. You've got 2 road games in difficult places, in difficult Big 12 environments. And those teams have a combined record of 17-1. You have to really treat this bye week with the respect that it deserves and really take it seriously because that is going to have a massive impact on what this Arizona State team does for the rest of the season. Also, if you are watching on TV, the party always continues at gophnx.com. We are hitting overtime, 3rd consecutive show now.
I mean, we live in overtime.
We do. In Sun Devil land, we live in overtime.
Sun Devil land rocks.
Sun Devil land does rock.
I love being in Sun
It's a great place to be. Isn't it a great place, Shane? Sun Devil land? Thumbs up. Thumbs up from Shane.
He's tearing up.
He's tearing up. Literally crying.
Dude, okay. Can we get this guy some tissues?
Yeah. You good, man?
Bro, you're going to break the audio board with all
Can
the
you
tears.
stop? Do you want this or no?
Do I want what?
Do you want,
I know what you're making.
Yeah, do you want it or no?
Yeah, I'd like it.
All
I'd like it. You could do that.
stop
Yes,
crying.
Gluck, we can 100% do that. 24-hour random Tuesday stream.
Hey, no.
Yeah. Tough. Absolutely tough. You can go back and watch the 24-hour stream we
It's
did
still
do.
up.
Yeah. It's
in nice, consumable 12-hour bites.
12-hour increments.
12-hour increments for those 24-hour streams. Can't believe we did that. People are never going to stop asking us to do that again.
They will.
No, I don't think so. I'm going to be 59 years old. They're going to be like, hey, man, you can do another
24-hour streams are going to be irrelevant.
They might be everything might be a 24-hour stream by then.
Nah, I don't think so.
Everybody might be streaming 24/7.
Yeah. Do you have anything else before we get out of here?
I mean, put me on the spot, but I think we talk about Rodney Bimage a little bit.
Yeah, let's talk about Bimage,
I think the fact that
next up.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about guys who have a big role next year, right? We didn't talk about Jaron Hamilton or whatever. Rodney Bimage is the future of the secondary.
Yeah.
Right? I think they'll boogie in there as well, man. But Rodney Bimage is funny. I think it was I forget who made the comment. It might have been West Beasy saying Bimage was out there with no gloves last week. A DB wearing no gloves says two things. One, he's ass, or two, he's not to be forked with.
Yeah.
I think the latter fits.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. Like, if you are not wearing gloves as a DB, then yeah, either you have no drip and the team's not providing you gloves because you're not going to see the field, or you're
a psychopath.
Or you're a psychopath.
You're a legitimate psychopath.
And have a dripless DB like that
who's punching the ball
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, but if they drop a pass,
get gloves. Yeah, that's 100% it. But right now, again, like, he has played well. I think there have been moments where he's been burned a couple times, but because of the plays he's making on the football, like, you don't notice it, which is
literally
big.
the punch out. He got beat pretty bad.
Yeah,
and he made up for it.
Yeah,
but if you're making up for it every time you get beat, then you're not really getting beat, are you?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're not giving up touchdowns or big catches, I think. And again, Rodney Bimage is a little bit of a bigger guy.
Yeah.
So what he provides in run defense as well is there too. So him and Boogie, I would say, are the future of the secondary as it stands right now. Obviously, some younger players still. Chris Johnson Jr. is in there. You have guys like a Plas Johnson when he gets healthy. Tony Lewis and Kuba, who's a taller DB. Like, the talent is certainly there in some of these young DBs. Bimage is just kind of the first one outside of Keith Abney that you've got to see.
Yeah.
Right now, Montana is obviously everybody's still coming back from injury. But yeah, Bimage is like the first one, the homegrown that you've kind of seen. So all I'm saying, man, lock in Brian Carrington. Yeah. Whatever you have to do to keep this man at Arizona State, do it. Give him the blank check. Brian Carrington is, man, he's a key piece to this program.
A lot of these coaches are. I know there are a lot of people who are talking about special teams right now. We talk about a unit that needs to step up, especially in the punting game.
Yeah.
That would do wonders for this team. I think this defense has masked some pretty rough field position that they have been
just got to get that sweet boy Canyon Floyd healed, man.
And yes, I agree. But even Canyon hadn't been.
He's been fine.
Canyon,
I will not let you slander the name of Canyon Floyd.
Hey, go Skis, okay? I'm just saying. The punting game needs to be stepped up a bit, and I love Jesus. Jesus has been great, but obviously missing a couple of kicks.
Didn't have his best game.
Not what you want from your kicker.
Geesey says, "Does Boogie go back to backup when 100-yard landlord comes back?"
Can't they just both play? Can we just get an extra guy out there?
I mean, there are
they can both.
You could play them all. You could play that type of defense.
I guess if Montana and X comes back, let's say all the starting defense is healthy.
The entire starting even. Okay, count this out for me. Count this out for me. You have your D line. So you've got CJ Fight, Kaikaika, Clayton, and Prince.
3, 4.
In terms of DBs, let's go Keith,
5,
Alford,
6,
Ghost,
7,
Javen,
8.
And sure, if you want to throw in, who am I missing?
You're missing the linebackers.
Well, I know that, but I'm trying to think of another DB. Did I miss? Did I say Boogie? I said Boogie and Alford and Ghost.
Abney?
I said Abney. Javen?
You didn't say all those guys.
Okay, let's
miss one of them.
This is a stupid game.
It's not a stupid game.
This sucks.
It's I don't know. I don't know how you do it. They're all safeties.
I mean, they're gonna rotate. They're gonna rotate.
Safeties. They're gonna rotate. I also don't know when Alford's getting back. Right, so this is a conversation that you don't really need to have right now. But it's certainly something that is going to be a topic of discussion when he gets back. Mm-hmm. But if I had to give you an answer now, then I would say Xavier Alford is going to be welcomed back with opening arms with open arms in the starting lineup.
He was one of your handful of players that you're talking about, best player on the
all
defense.
conference type of safety, vocal leader on this team for 2 years. Like he's going to have his starting spot back when he gets there. At least that's just my 2 cents on the whole situation, guys. But that is going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils Show. Again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed today's content, give the show a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me and Anthony_Totri. You can follow the fence sitter. Is that what you said? The fence splitter? That. Yeah, that's what it was.
No, he said fence sitter.
Fence sitter? Yeah, you can follow the guy that sits on fences at Erik Ruby. That's Erik with a K. You can follow the Deli Man at Shane Deef.
Yeah, as always.
And we'll see you guys on Wednesday. In the meantime, go Devils. And peace.
We all silly like the mayor.